This is Shelley Craft coming to you live on SNNLive. We're at the Sprott, Stansberry, Vancouver Natural Resource Symposium 2015. With me is Mr. Matthew Hornor from Kaizen Discovery. It's a publicly traded company. I'm going to give you two symbols, KZD on the TSX Venture and CCNCF in the U.S. Matthew, welcome back to SNNLive.
Thank you, Shelley, and thank you for having me.
It's good to have you. Let's get an overview on Kaizen for our audience, and we'll go from there.
Okay, as we talked about last year at the same conference, Kaizen Discovery is a mining company, junior exploration mining company, that's partnered with Itochu Corporation out of Japan. Itochu Corporation is a $23 billion market cap trading house, 105,000 employees in 65 countries. And they're supporting our efforts in buying companies and projects in this depressed mining cycle. So we're buying low and selling high and bringing our Japanese partners in at the project level to advance our projects and develop them and bring them forward.
So as we say in the business world, you married well.
Very well. We started this company in 2013, December 2013. Our first order of business was to formed that marriage with Itochu Corporation. They invested $5 million at the company level and agreed with us in a framework agreement or a strategic alliance agreement to go out and shop together for undervalued companies that hold very high valued assets. So we're looking at companies that had been trading at $300 million. Now they're trading at $3 million.
I was going to say, I mean, you know, this is like a buyer's market, right?
Correct. So we're buying in a buyer's market, and you have to get your timing right. And you have to have money in your bank and money behind you to move things forward. You know, a lot of the junior mining companies around the world are set up in kind of the reverse fashion, where they go out and they self-fund their projects. They have very smart geologists who find great ideas on prospective areas, and then they hope for the white knight to come in, the strategic partner to come in at the end of the story. We think that model is broken, especially in this market, where we bring in our strategic investor from the very beginning, so we know that a lot of the financing risk is off the table. So, as I'm sure the viewers are aware, one of the main risks for any of these projects is the financing risks. And who's going to finance it and when, who's going to bring it into production, all the rest. We like to take that off the table because exploration is risky enough. And not only are we buying exploration projects, we're also buying resources.
Well, let's just, get back to that timetable a minute for a sense of discussion. Mm-hmm. You know, if you're out there buying resources, the time to buy them is early, before they've been sort of drilled heavily, and before the results are all in and the reports are being filed. What gives you all of that confidence in your geos that you really have the resources? Because although it's probably less expensive getting in early, you might have an empty hole, and I say that in all sincerity.
Well, it's what every junior mining company faces, and it's a good question. I can answer that question in two parts. We like to say that, as a company slogan, we are the definition of what I would call success or luck, which is preparation meeting opportunity. We as a group have been preparing for this moment, voluntarily, involuntarily, by chance, for 20 years. It's the timing is such that we have a team that's come together through the Ivanhoe Greater Group. We're leveraging the track record we have in raising capital out of Japan and have proprietary technology that allows us to be competitive against a lot of the other junior mining companies and are earning into these incredible projects. So, and of course, the access to the capital. So that preparation, finding the capital partner to support us, having a team that knows capital markets, knows exploration very, very well, and giving us the edge through this geophysics technology, which is the best in the planet. We think that's the preparation. Now we're meeting this opportunity in the market right now where everything's undervalued. So if you look up on Wikipedia or online, what some people say the definition of luck or success is. I'd much rather be lucky than anything else. It is preparation meeting opportunity. So that's like what I like to say our tagline is. To the second part of the question, why are we so confident? Well, we're lucky enough to have as our EVP Exploration a gentleman by the name of Dr. David Broughton. Dr. David Broughton was the recipient, the winner of the Lindsay Thayer Award at the PDAC this year. He received this award for his discovery at the Kamoa project in the DRC. This is around 1 billion tons of copper, grading at about 3%. It's massive. The type of geology there is what we think we've found up in the north, our project in Nunavut called Copper Mine. The whole town is called Copper Mine, actually. The Inuit word for it is Kaguktuk. But it's one of these things that we think is kind of hidden in plain sight. There's copper literally everywhere, and we think the most important part of that project is what we call the sediment-hosted stratiform copper, which is in the northern area. Dave Broughton is the expert in this type of geology and finding massive discoveries in that type of geological setting. And this year he actually won the award for doing so, which is something that's voted on by his peers, not something that's paid for, but like in Hollywood.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
So here's my next question.
Sure.
And I think it's an area of interest that an investor audience would have about Kaizen. What percentage of the company that you're acquiring a piece of would you normally acquire for capital?
100.
Okay, so you buy the whole company, lock, stock, and barrel, and then ownership of the mine might get Kaizen shares, right? Is that the deal?
We buy the company so that we can offer some portion of the project to our Japanese partners. And sometimes the teams that are in those companies we'll keep the best guys or gals and bring those companies forward. So it's if there's somebody who's already part of a project, it's not intelligent to get rid of them and bring on somebody else who has to go up the learning curve. Right. So long as they know what they're doing, we'll keep them around.
As they say, they know where the bodies are buried.
Yeah.
My next question is, and this is important for investors as well, we're almost a little bit beyond the halfway point in 2015. Let's summarize, where are you going to be by the end of 2016? Reasonably forecasted. I'm not going to hold you to it.
Well, I can answer that question by thinking about what happened since the last time you and I met. Last time...
That's a good place to start.
Yeah, last time you and I met, we were talking about doing some acquisitions on projects and companies, had these highfalutin ideas on being able to finance them with the Japanese money. And I said, well, Shelley, either I'm going to be right or I'm going to be wrong. Either we'll be able to keep our nose down and focus on execution, or we'll come up short. Since the last time we saw you, we've acquired a company. The Japanese have financed part of one of the projects. We've acquired 2 more companies in that time period. We've done an additional financing. Now we're looking at financing the final 2, and there's only so much I can say before we actually acquire a project about where
you can't say the name and you can't say where they are.
Obviously, but I can say, and I have said repeatedly, and you kind of have to take my word for it, that we don't greenlight any acquisition of any company or any project unless I've gone to Tokyo myself, sat down with them, and of course, I was trained as a corporate finance lawyer in Tokyo, and of course I speak the language. Until I go over there and speak to our partners and say, we're looking at these groups of companies as possible takeover targets. If we're successful in acquiring them, would you be interested in supporting those projects? It's only after they say yes do I go and acquire the company. So I'll leave it to the viewer to draw the conclusion that when we say we expect project level financing by our Japanese partners, what that means.
Let's get your website out there. Ladies and gentlemen, get your pencils out.
www.kaizendiscovery.com, Kaizen discovery.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, Matthew Hornor, Kaizen Discovery, symbols, two of them, in Canada. KZD on the TSX Venture in the U.S. CCNCF. I'm Shelley Kraft. This is SNN Live, and we're coming to you live from the Sprott, Stansberry, Vancouver Natural Resource Symposium 2015. Matthew, always a pleasure.
Shelley, always a pleasure here too. Thank you so much for having me.
Good to see you. Bye.